Hello everyone and welcome to day 49 in this quest for a 2000 rating on chess.com. Alright, let's begin here by finding an opponent. Okay, well we have the white pieces. Alright, we do. Okay, let's begin with e4 and see how they respond. So e5 will attack that pawn. Now what? Oh, they're thinking, oh, so the Philidor defense. All right, so I think it's best to just play this. d4. All right, so now if they capture, we want to capture with the knight, because if we captured with the queen, they could capture here and attack us. All right, so now, we probably want to develop this bishop. But if we develop the bishop, we might want to develop here later, or sorry, bishop to b5 later to pin his knight if it moves. So maybe we should develop this piece first here. So we'll go ahead, develop that knight first. See what they do now. All right, so they develop putting pressure on that. Should we go ahead and just develop here? We could move here. I don't know if that could be a little slow, pushing this pawn to prevent a pin. We'll go ahead and do that. Keep his... Okay, so now he goes there. Could play this first to see what they do. All right, now their knight can't move. So should we retreat back? We'll just go there. I don't know, this might be a little passive. Well, now we could go after this bishop and the pawn at the same time. So we'll play that and see what they decide to do. And we could go after this. All right, well, now he's attacking there. And it's turning into a mess. So let's see. I guess we could pick off his bishop. Or do we go here and attack his king? That's probably best. Just go there. Then we could attack his knight, but then he could go that way. So, let's see. Do we go here? Well, we have to move this knight, so, do we go back here? Does that accomplish anything? Or do we just do that? Or did I turn this game into a mess again? Is he going to capture here and bring his knight down? Or will he pick us off with his bishop? Okay, so he decides to pick us off with the bishop. All right. Well, we need to go ahead and capture there. Now, well, at least we got rid of his bishop pair. And now, let's see, what can we do? Probably should just go ahead and castle. Now, I'm wondering, well, he could jump into there. So, all right, if he pushes forward, he's going to jump a knight into this position. Is there a way we can get at his king? Well, I don't really want to block my pieces in, but if we do this, or did that just create a weakness there? It probably created some weaknesses. All right. Can we move our queen up without him causing us problems? I don't know. It's not looking too good. I think we're going to end up getting stuck here. All right, well, here at least we attack the queen. And we could check here. Oh, we could have captured that pawn with check already. Well, at least this gets the queen out of the line here. Okay, so now do we go ahead and check the king, driving him over here? Probably that's what we should do. Might as well pick that pawn off, but then he's going after this one. So that could be dangerous. All right, well, don't have time to think about it. We'll take the pawn, check the king, throwing him into the center, and then we can push forward here, and that'll work. Push forward like this. That kind of blocks this up. We can start pushing these pawns, and hopefully we'll be able to castle here to the queen side. I don't know, this game just turned really crazy and kind of wild, so he's probably, well, he can't castle, I forgot, he already moved. All right, so what could he do here? I mean, I guess he could go after this unprotected bishop. I don't know. He's kind of tied up. Maybe move. Well, he can't move his bishop, or we pick off this knight. So, I mean, we could even at some point push forward here. Okay, so now he's probably going to try and get ready to... Oh, he's threatening a fork here as well. Okay. Well, let's see. Well, I guess we could jump up here. You know, and we're kind of, let's see, if we go here and he goes down here and he threatens the fork, we could just castle to alleviate any issues. All right, do we just play here and kind of stop his counterplay? All right, well, we're in a tricky spot here. The knight has moved away. There is this threat of chasing our queen. If that happens, I guess we could go here. Maybe we should just go ahead and castle right away. Then he could chase our queen, go after this knight, and then if the knight, well, or if the knight goes down here, you know, maybe we should try that first to limit his options. So we'll just do that. We'll just limit what he's able to do. So that A3 defensive move keeps his knight out of the game and his bishop. He could just push this pawn and attack us, which is what he does. Okay. So now, what do? We just... Oh man, I guess I could have picked off his knight with my bishop too and wrecked his pawns as well. But then, I don't know, that would leave an opening to my queen side, which is where I might want to castle. So I don't know if I like that either. All right, well, it looks like keep our queen centralized is probably best. So, keeping that in mind, we probably want to just go here. And we'll just see what he does next. Oh man, and we have this threat of the queen. Maybe I moved too fast. Well, no, but we do have this threat of bishop to b5, pinning the queen to the king in the center here. And, you know, no matter what he does, we'll be able to... Well, he could just move, but this looks like a good move here. Bishop to b5. If the queen moves, You know, maybe if he moves his queen up to d6 attacking us, we can check the king. The king would have to move over to here. Anyway, okay, so he saw that move. All right. He saw that. Okay. Well, we probably should attack the queen anyways. And if we attack the queen, and the queen will just probably move here, attacking us. You know, and then what do we do? And if he pushes this pawn forward and blocks our bishop in. All right, well. Do we want to do that? Do we want to activate this bishop, get this bishop into the game? Because this bishop is not doing too much here. You know, although we could attack this knight. Do we attack that knight? No. All right. Anyway, let's attack here. Do something before I run out of time again. I'm already 5 minutes behind. All right, so we're attacking the queen. That at least forces him to make a decision. All right, so I expected him to go there. So we will... We might as well take his queen. Then maybe wreck his pawns over here. All right. Is there anything better? Probably not. So, do we bring our bishop back into the game? By going here? Maybe we do that. That could work. All right. Well, let's go there. At least get this bishop back in the game. So if he captures, if he ignores it, then we just pick off his queen. Bishop captures, our bishop captures, we're just ahead in material. But this queen could slide over here. That is a possibility. And of course, that's what he does. So, All right, I think we have something here. So, if we jump our knight into the game, with this, does that work? We'll just do that. Attack his queen again. If he picks our bishop off. Oh, great. Did I overlook something there? All right. Oh, no, because now we can just capture the knight with checks. So what am I thinking? All right. I need to just calm down and play the position here. All right, so we'll just go there, capture the knight with check. We're threatening a mate in one up here on d7, so he'll probably have to block. He'll have to block with what? The bishop? Ah, he just resigned. Okay. Well, we just had a resignation. So he's in check. Oh, if he blocks, we just... Yeah, he's like really in trouble here. Yeah. Okay, we'll definitely have to look at this in the analysis. But this is one reason you don't want to let your king in the center too long, even though I did the same thing, but I got the attack in first. So he's under attack here. What can he do? He could try and block. Well, he can't block. If he tries to block with the bishop, then we can just capture like this. Let's see. If he blocks with the bishop, that's probably our best move, is to just capture with the queen. And then if he captures, we just come out ahead in material. What else do we have? And we have this big pawn majority over here. It's crazy. So if he tries to run, where can he go? The only place he can go is to c8, but then we just mate him up here with queen to d7 because of these crisscrossing bishops. They're causing a lot of trouble. All right, let's do the game review and see. Hopefully I played better than the crazy game I had yesterday, which was, I think I played at like a 1350 level because it just turned into a disaster. I blundered at the end. All right, so here, it looks like something happened in the middle of the game where black had the advantage but wasn't able to capitalize, and then I jumped back ahead, so we'll definitely have to take a look at that. So it looks like I played at 85.2 versus their 69.5. I had 3 great moves. Let's see. So I had 2 inaccuracies and they had 3. I had 1 mistake and they had 2. And then they had a miss and a blunder. So let's take a look here. All right, so book moves here, the Philidor defense. We play e4, they play e5. Here, let's go back through this. So if you're not familiar with the Philidor, so after e4, e5, knight to f3, we attack the pawn. Normally, people will play knight to c6, or maybe they'll play knight to f6 to counterattack our e-pawn. But in this opening, the Philidor defense, they play d6, and they fortify this pawn. But the downside is it blocks in this bishop here on f8. So they have a kind of a blocked-in bishop. The Philidor defense is a little bit more passive. So now we play d4 to go ahead and threaten to capture this. And then if they capture, we could capture their pawn and then pick this pawn off. So that's a possibility. So anyway, that is the Philidor defense. So let's see what the next key move was after d4. So they capture, we capture. And I don't know. It says this was a great move. So I wasn't 100% sure about it, but let's see if we even followed it up correctly. Okay, it looks like we did. They made a mistake here moving that knight up forward. We'll have to look at that in the analysis here in a little bit. All right, so that was not the best move. So f3 was not good. Trying, I thought I could keep his knight, keep the knights out of here. It does create weaknesses. So usually you don't want to move your f pawn. Best would have been just developing the bishop here. So this would have been a better move. All right. Well, see what happened next. So they really like this move, pushing our queen forward. It says this is the only move that works, and you found it. It's important to get your pieces off their starting squares and into the action. So also I wanted to push this queen up here to prevent his pawn from pushing forward and harassing my knight here. All right, so now another great move, it says, attacking the queen. So now we're +3 advantage here. Let me go back and see what this move was. So f3 here, it looks like this was not a good move, this queen to d6. Their best move would have been to push the pawn forward here. Yeah, so what do we do there? That would not have been too fun. We'd probably, we could go here, but then they would capture, we'd capture, and their knight would recapture and jump in there. So now the best move, I guess we could see what they show. Retreating back to the first rank, I guess, is their best option. All right, so let's see here what happened in the game. We brought our queen up. The computer liked that. Then we bring our bishop up, attacking the queen. So then we have a retreat by the queen, giving us time to capture with check here. So at this point, we just stay ahead. And, I'll have to look in the analysis because, maybe I didn't play some of the best moves. But it really liked this move because we're threatening if the queen were to capture our bishop here, well then, we could jump up here, capture their bishop with check, and then, this knight, we could pick that off next. So, and then we would still be guarding this pawn after we pick that knight off if the queen picks our bishop off. All right, anyway, more stuff to look at in the analysis. So here they just resign. So definitely some interesting things to look at in the analysis. So now, let's see. It says you really outplayed your opponent in that one. You played a bit better than your opponent in the opening. You were a cut above your opponent in the middle game. So it looks like we played at a 1900 level, or at least the computer says that. I don't know how accurate that is all the time because I played some blitz games at a lower level, where I'm playing like, I don't know, 1,000, 1,100 players, 1,200, and I'll have a good game, but it doesn't say I played at a higher level like this, maybe because both of us are at lower levels in those blitz games. All right, so it says you were a cut above your opponent in the middle game. So the opening, we played at 94.5 versus their 80.3. And then in the middle game, we had 79.2% accuracy versus their 59.2. Okay, so let's look at the analysis and from the beginning, see what we can figure out here. So once again, this Philidor defense after e4, e5, knight to f3, d6. This is the Philidor defense named after, I believe, Andrei Danikin Philidor. I think that was his entire name, who was a French chess master, maybe the best in the world at the time, back in the 1700s, maybe early 1700s, if I recall correctly. But Philidor he had an interesting saying that pawns are the soul of chess. So basically, he believed that a lot of the chess game was influenced dramatically by how the pawns were positioned. So if you take care of your pawns, then that will help with your pieces and your game, and you'll just play a better overall chess game. And by taking care of the pawns, I just mean don't break them apart. Don't make them weak and doubled, and too many pawn islands. All right. So d4, and is that the best response according to the computer? Well, it looks like it's even. Bishop to c4, knight to c3, or d4 are all decent moves, book moves. So d4, their best response is to capture, which is what they do. And now it says that we can capture with our queen if we want to, which is interesting. I just thought if we capture with our queen, the knight could jump up here and attack us. I guess we could pin the knight, but then the bishop could break the pin, and then our queen would be under attack again. And then what do we do? Do we move our queen over to a4 and have a bishop and queen battery lined up here? Anyway, interesting options to think about. But in the game, I just played knight captures here. And then we have, let's see, my opponent played h6, which, I guess he didn't want to have me pinning his knight when he moved it up here, or he just wanted to see what I would do next after h6. But the computer says that's an inaccuracy, and the game jumps to almost +1 in white's favor after this. This move is kind of slow when you don't have any pieces developed and you just bring another pawn out. Now it's saying that I should play queen to d3, that's the best move, and that's an interesting move that I didn't think about. Queen to d3. All right. But knight to c3, h3, those are both good moves as well. So let's see what our opponent should have played. It looks like either knight to f6, developing a knight, or bishop to e7, or even knight to c6 over here. But knight to f6 or bishop to e7, getting closer to castling on the king side, is what the computer says is best. So after h6, this inaccuracy, kind of a slow move, now it's saying knight to c3 is the best move. But as I play it here, now it's saying bishop to f4 would have been better. Okay, so they developed their knight, although now it likes knight to c6 better. We play h3, which is excellent, but it prefers bishop to e3. I thought if I played bishop to e3 that I would be harassed by this knight jumping up to g4, so that's why I played h3. So now they develop their bishop and they're getting ready to castle, which is the best move in the position. So here it looks like we should play h3. That would have been better. But I play an inaccuracy here. I thought, well, if they play this pawn push, now their knight can't go here, but this wasn't the best move. So I'll have to study this opening a little bit because I don't play the Philidor against too many people. I just don't see that too often. But this is kind of a wasteful move because now they're just going to chase me away like this. So what should I have played instead? Looks like bishop to e3 would have been best. So that is what is recommended. And then I could get ready maybe to move my queen up and castle queenside. And if my if my opponent's king, which looks like it's ready to castle kingside, does that, well, then we could start a pawn storm, just throwing our pawns up here at the enemy king's position. If we castled queenside. So now, after this move, they do recommend just castling here. And then queen to f3, where we can kind of line up on the king side here with our queen. All right, so back to what happened in the game. After they played bishop to e7, we attacked their king with check, but this wasn't a very good move. And the computer says it's an inaccuracy because now they just chase us away, which by playing this pawn to c6, it not only chases us away, but it can help fortify this d5 square, to keep the knight out, and it could help push this pawn forward to d5 and back it up. Although we could capture that, but in the game we have to retreat. It says d3 would have been better, and I was kind of looking at that, and I don't know, it just looks like obviously I should have played d3 better, or excuse me, I should have played d3 because that's better. So, although, I don't know, here it's saying bishop to e2 is preferred. So, it says that's still good, but now the game's about even. We've kind of let our advantage fizzle out here. So our opponent plays knight at b to d7 here, just developing their other knight. And that is not the best move. It looks like instead they should castle here. So if they would castle, it recommends that we castle, and then we just go from there. But my opponent played this, knight to d7 here. The computer says that is a mistake. So how do we take advantage of that? Well, it looks like I was lucky enough to find the way to take advantage of it, which was knight to f5. So with this move, we could snatch up the bishop pair by getting rid of his e7 bishop. We're also attacking this pawn. So, if he retreats to protect this pawn, well, then we could pick off this pawn with the knight being protected by our queen. So here the recommendation is to just go ahead and castle, and then we would go ahead and snatch up this central pawn. All right, so I guess we could take a look at that because they played knight to c5 here, which the computer did not like that move. So instead, it looks like castling would have been best, and then our best response would be to snatch up this pawn, and black should not capture that knight, giving up the bishop pair, but we could snatch up their other pawn and get rid of their bishop pair anyway. So now it's saying knight to b6 is the most recommended move, or queen to b6 as well. Let's see, knight to b6. And now it just recommends that we take their bishop pair. And also, the queen move may be better because then, this bishop might have trouble developing because the queen could possibly pick this pawn off. But here we should just go ahead and take their bishop pair away. So then we have the bishop pair and they don't, and that gives us an advantage. Now, the queen capture is recommended, and we can go ahead and castle here. And they're threatening to move a rook over and attack our queen. Now the computer's saying that it would have been better to just snatch up the queen. All right. Well, let's see what happened in the game. After our knight to f5 move, now knight to c5 is played, a mistake, and the game jumps to +2 now in white's favor. So, were we able to take advantage of it? The best move, yes, is to just capture that pawn, which is unprotected. So now, king to f8 is the best response, which is what they play. And here, knight to h5 or knight to f5. So it's saying knight to f5 is the best move, which is what we do. Oh, but now the computer changed its mind, saying that's an inaccuracy, that it would be better to go here with knight to h5. So with that, I guess we are immediately attacking their knight, but that knight would probably just capture this pawn anyway. Although the computer says that it would be better to capture with this knight here. All right, so computer says that would be best. And then what? Then we capture. Then they capture. And now what? Now it recommends that we just go ahead and castle. I don't know. That looks a little dangerous, castling into this wide open space here. So I guess I could look at it a little deeper. So if we went there, now it says to just push this, although here it's recommending, you know, moving this bishop up. So maybe the computer is undecided because, you know, there's this possibility. Rook to g8 lining up on our king. The bishop is lining up on this h-pawn and could capture, and we wouldn't be able to recapture, you know, unless we moved our king. But then, you know, maybe they move over here and line up here. It's just looking kind of tricky. So let's see what happened in the game. So after this knight to f5, they move forward. We pick that off with check. They attack our knight. We move back to the center. And now it looks like knight on f capturing the e-pawn is best. But what do they do in the game? They capture my knight with their bishop. So, you know, our best move, of course, is to recapture. And now, what do they play? d5, which is the best move. So here, it looks like bishop to e3 is recommended, or queen to d4. So we played queen to d4, but I didn't look at this bishop to e3 move. You know, if I played bishop to e3, the queen could possibly, well, could it come down here? Oh, maybe not. Because we could go here and our bishop would have the knight pinned to the queen. And if we moved our knight to a4, it would guard b2 and attack their queen if the queen moved to b6 there. All right. So in the game, what did we have here? We played that move. Not good. A mistake. And now it's plus, well, excuse me. Now it's 1 point, the equivalent of 1 pawn in black's favor. With that one move, we just wrecked a good position. So, you know, what should we have done here? Let's see. Bishop to f3 now. It's saying that. Well, let's see what the computer says about that. So it is. It's saying that's the best move. Bishop to f3. Then it recommends queen to d7 or king to g7 or even bishop to d6. So anyway, that would have been better than our ridiculous move here. You know, I thought this keeps his knights out of the center here. It could help me fortify with a pawn push here. But the drawback to this move is these weak squares opened up around my king. Generally, you don't want to push your f-pawn unless you have a solid plan behind doing so. All right, so their best move here would have been d4 in response. So d4, And then knight to b1, retreating to the back rank is our best move. And here, oh, now it's saying that's an inaccuracy, that it would be better instead to just counterattack their knight. But anyway, now we have, what, knight to h5 is possible. It says that's the best move, threatening to jump in here and attack our rook and our bishop at the same time. So our best move would be to go ahead and castle. Oh, man. And then they should just continue with their plan, forking the rook and the queen. And we should keep our bishop pair, it says. Well, that's an interesting choice. It recommends giving up our rook, or would they even do that? So now it's saying that, the best move, yes, is to just go ahead and capture. They capture, and then our queen would recapture, and we keep the bishop pair. But black is still in the lead here. So what if, if we did this instead? Oh, that could cause problems if the bishop jumps here. Yeah, man. We could have had a lot of issues in this game, and they didn't capitalize off that. Yeah, this was just such a bad move here, opening up all these weak squares around my king. So instead, they make a miss, or they move this queen to d6, and that is a miss. So here we find queen to d4, the best move. Queen to g3 is their best response. So queen to g3, which is, I don't know, one of the moves I was kind of waiting for them to attack me. What do we do here? King to f1 appears to be the best response. So king to f1. Rook to g8, threatening a mate. Well, not a mate, because the king can escape over here to e1, but threatening to capture with check and then pick our rook off, possibly. So, looks like just going here is the best move. Although it likes this capture with check better over here. And yeah, I can see why. You just snatch up a pawn. So you might as well do that first. Now it's saying that's best. To just go there. He's in check. The king, is going to move over. And now we can play queen to f2, attacking their queen. Oh, it doesn't like that. Man, the computer is... I don't know. I thought the computer just liked that move, and now it doesn't. So let's go back. It's still saying queen to f2 is the best move. So after we move there, it's saying rook to g1 is better by quite a bit. So let's look at this rook to g1. Well, now, rook to g1, they recommend knight to what, h5 here? Oh, yeah. Now they can jump in here and fork our bishop and our queen, or excuse me, our king and bishop once their queen moves. So best here for us would be, oh man, it's saying f4. That kind of really blocks in our bishop though. All right. f4. Why would you even go to f4? Now it's saying, okay, the computer, I think, is just undecided on what to do here. Because now it's saying that instead we should just retreat back to here. And then we could attack the queen if we want to. And, well, I don't know. We want to stay here to keep this knight out. But if the queen retreats, we could move here and keep the knight from jumping in there, maybe. Okay, before I went off on that wild goose chase over there, let's go ahead and see what they played. They moved rook to g8, a blunder. Now it's plus 3.29 in white's favor. Queen to g3 check would have been better. So, are we able to take advantage of this rook to g8 move? Well, we find the first move. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's look at this. It recommends capturing with check first, and then moving bishop to f4, which, you know, why not? Why not just pick off this piece first, sending the king to the center, and then reposition. So I got that backwards. If you see the difference, if we attack the queen first, well, then the queen just moves, and then we pick this pawn off. Our bishop is stuck. Well, not stuck, but left sitting on the edge of the board. So it would have been better to pick this off first, perhaps. Yeah, so it does say that that is better. And now the best move that it recommends is rook to g7, blocking with the rook. You know, and then of course we would pick that off. But you know, most likely the opponent would go here. And now we just move back to f4, attacking the queen. And our bishop is left in this good position in the center. So that was like a little move order that I played incorrectly. So they would move up here, and then, well, now we can just play g4, keeping that knight from being able to move here, you know, and attack our bishop. And then they recommend b5 as the best move. But at this point, we would be +3 ahead or close to it. Now it's saying +5, that a5 would be better. All right, back to this blunder that they made. All right, we played this a little wrong here. We attacked the queen first. They move, but the computer said they should have went all the way up to d8, which gives the queen a little more scope on d8. But I guess he wanted to leave room for his rook to develop. But on d8, you know, maybe he could swing out here to the queen side at some point. So we capture with check, which is best. The king moves over. And now we play g4 to keep that knight out of, you know, being able to jump in here and then maybe down here and cause problems. So computer says that is the best move. And now b5 would be best. Or even queen to c7 to try and line up on this diagonal, although we could possibly move here. All right, so knight to a6 is played, an inaccuracy, jumping the game to +4.76 in white's favor. So let's see. The best move they recommend is b5. Now let's see if the computer changes its mind. No, it says b5 is best. Getting ready to attack our knight here possibly. And now b4 is the best move. To just attack, you know, counterattack their knight. Well, it's also saying bishop to f1. Huh. Bishop to f1. You know, that would be a surprising move. Okay, but this move forces their knight to go somewhere. You know, if it goes to a4, we just capture and wreck their pawns over here. So knight to b7. I don't know, that looks like maybe a little better move. Because knight to b7, you could reposition to d6 maybe and try and jump into this outpost on c4. But the computer recommends going here and attacking this pawn immediately. So now, the the recommendation is to ignore that. You know, I would want to play a3. That's the second best move. I mean, that's what I would play to just stop any counterplay over here. And now king to d8. Okay. Before I go off on another sideline here, g4 was played, knight to a6, an inaccuracy. We didn't, you know, after I moved this pawn, I thought, well, I could have just captured that knight and wrecked his pawns over here, but that would leave an opening towards my queen side, and I might want to castle in that direction. So let's see here. They push forward, the best move in the position. So now queen to d2 is best. But we don't play that. We played queen to e5, and now it's saying that that is best. Because if you can centralize your queen, it can cover a lot more squares from the center. So usually, if your queen is safe, it's safe to centralize your queen. It can be very powerful to do that, but you have to make sure that it can't be attacked and chased all around the board. Here, I'm pinning that bishop, so the bishop can't attack me, although his queen could move up and we could trade off queens. And it looks like that's the best move, queen to d6, to just go after my queen. And then I should just play f4. That way if he captures my queen, I capture towards the center and undouble this pawn. So he moves over. That's not the best move. Knight to b8, it looks like, which would jump this knight up here, and then it can get ready to go back to c6, re-entering the game and attacking our queen. So here it would be best to ignore that knight, castle queen side. They would attack our queen. Well, now it's saying queen to h2 would have been better, because now they're attacking our queen, and we would have to go to h2 anyway, is what it recommends. You know, now we could help maybe push this h-pawn up here as fast as we can. So now a6. Maybe getting ready to just, well, to keep this knight out of here and start attacking on the queen side where I've castled. But at this point, white is ahead a good bit. So in the game, we had bishop to b5 attacking the queen. The queen moves forward. And what do we do here? We play bishop to f4. But is that the best move? Is f4 better, or just capturing? It looks like we should have just captured there. Just pick that off. The bishop would capture. So let's take a look at it. It says to do that. You know, the bishop would capture, of course. And now we could just go ahead and castle. So castle. Knight here attacking our bishop. Oh man, there's a threat of trapping this bishop in too. You know, if they move here, blocking the bishop's exit path, and then if they attack us, we'd have to move here, and we wouldn't be able to retreat down to here. All right, so that would be dangerous. Now it's recommending, well, this is interesting. It says we should ignore that. You know, but what if they try to block us in with that move? Well, it doesn't like that. Now it's saying we can go here, attacking this. No, it's saying we should have captured here as well. Man, so that's crazy. You know, what if they do this? Well, now they just pick this off. Okay, so they can't do that. So they have to do something about that. I don't know, it says that this is best. Then we would just do that. Yeah, this just looks terrible. bishop to f4 check. King moves, and they pick this pawn off. Anyway, a lot of crazy stuff here. But, well, I guess we could play it out. King to b1. Take on g5. Now it recommends that we capture. Oh, because of the pin. There's a pin by the rook, so they can't capture us here. All right. So that was interesting. Okay, the final moves in the game. Bishop to f4, protecting our queen. And the final inaccuracy that jumps the game to over +8 in white's favor. So moving over here, I guess thinking, of a possible fork down here on b2. If we capture the knight, they could possibly fork here and cause problems. But we go ahead and ignore that with this move, which is best. And now it looks like queen takes b5 is the best move. But I don't know, it's just looking bad here. Queen takes b5. Now it's saying queen to d6 is better. Or even queen to a5 check. But if they did that, our king could run over here, I guess. But if they pick this off, then we would have had, let's see, well, queen takes e7 or knight takes e7. Man, I don't know. That looks kind of crazy, though. That knight takes e7 is better. Okay. Oh, well, I guess we have a check here on d6. But queen to a5 would be the best move. King to f2. Queen to c7 here, attacking our queen. Oh, man, but now we're just attacking everything. I mean, we could go here with check. It just looks like a disaster for black after all that. So this move was the final disastrous move. So we capture here. They go ahead and capture us. And then did they resign here? No, we capture with check, which was the best move. And now they resigned here. But it looks like the best follow-up would have been blocking with the bishop. And then, oh man. I would have just captured here. I'd probably would capture with the queen maybe. Yeah, maybe something like that. Capture with the queen. I could just castle here and, I don't know, really throw another rook into the center. But it looks like that is the best move, threatening a mate right here. Then the queen captures to stop that mate in one, or the queen could have checked us. But now we castle that way. The queen goes to e8. But, man, now we capture over here. Threatening to pick this off. Queen to e7. Rook captures. Oh, it's a disaster at this point. Yeah, so, I guess there's a good reason my opponent resigned. So, let's see. What the computer says that the game could have played out like this. And then we would just be ahead, a whole rook here, and then a whole bunch of pawns that are going to march up the board. Okay, well, I better wrap this up. Thank you for watching if you stuck around for the entire game and the game review and analysis. Please like and subscribe for those that haven't already. And feel free to leave comments or suggestions and any requests if there is a subject that you would like to see in a future chess video. Just let me know and I can try and work on that. All right, well, thank you for watching and have a super chess day.